Hello, welcome to Golf FM and welcome to the Battle of Britain. This is the top selling waterproof bag in Britain, I'm told, the Motocaddy Dri series, against, I think, number 2, Powakaddy Dri Tech. Sorry if that's factually wrong, but I think that's what I've heard. If you don't get these in your country, I apologise for that, but maybe if you see this and you think they're good enough, you could pay for the extra import duty and postage costs if you think they're good enough, because I think they are quite good bags. Okay, so it's worth watching, maybe even if you do live in America and you're not actually able to get any of these in your country, which I don't think they sell Powakaddy and Motocaddy over there. These are two brands which are primarily known for electric trolleys and push trolleys, but they also make bags as well, because funnily enough, bags go on trolleys, and it would make sense that they did that. So they should be good, because that is kind of all they do. They don't make clubs or anything like that. They don't make clothing. So trolleys and bags should be their thing, really. So no excuses here. So price-wise, this is a bit annoying actually. When I looked this up on the internet, like I've got this Powakaddy one at $229, and that is pretty much what you'll see it online for. This one I found for $219, and that is absolutely making peanuts as a retailer. If you're selling it at $219, I don't know what kind of deal these guys are getting to be selling it at $219, but if that's what it costs me from now on and I have to sell it at that, I won't be doing many of these. Don't care how good it is. But you're not bothered about that. You just want it as cheap as you can. In fact, you want a discount off $219 really, is what you would actually like. Oh, it's not going to happen in here, I can tell you that for nothing. So I'm going to go through them bit by bit and tell you which I think should really be the number one, okay? Never mind what the sales say. What do I think? Golf FM, the bag expert, self-proclaimed just now. Both waterproof material. Weight-wise, the Motocaddy is 2.9 kilograms and this is 2.3. You do notice it a little bit in the scientific weight test that Golf FM always does, where you just go like that with either hand. So it does feel a bit heavier, but it's still quite light. It's a little bit heavier than you would normally get with a waterproof bag. Because of the material that they use for waterproof bags, they're inherently light, okay? And there is a lot of work that goes into them behind the scenes. Every seam, every stitch there, that's punching a hole in that waterproof material. So you need to shore that up at the back. That's why sometimes there's not as many pockets on waterproof bags as there are on normal bags, because they have to worry about that. But these bags are actually pretty good for that. So let's go through them before this video gets so long it's not even funny. So both got 14-way full length dividers, which means all the clubs are separate from each other, okay? And there looks to be a good arrangement in terms of the putter well in there, slightly bigger than the Motocaddy, but again, you're going to get big putters in there, no bother. It's absolutely fine. So other things on the top, right? They've both got this bit, it says, that's this power grip, and it feels really sort of solid and nice and gnarly, that it's sort of grippy. And then the Motocaddy's got the same sort of grippy. It doesn't feel quite as amazing quality as that does, but it's pretty close. Oh, another thing I want to just check on is what they're doing rivet wise in here. So sometimes the rivets come through into these bags, and they do on this, and you can feel them. So that's metal bits, and but it does it on both bags. That is something, if I was a bag designer, I would try and get away with that, because no matter what you say to people about, oh well, that's inset, that metal bit, and so that the material comes out over it and it shouldn't hit the club. Shouldn't's not good enough for some people. Some people get worried about graphite shafts wearing away, and I wouldn't have that if I was you. I would get them either closed over or rubber edges on them or something. Just don't give people that worry. I think you'll be all right, and with these being number 1 and 2 in the market, they must be all right, because if they were wearing everybody's clubs out, they wouldn't be number 1 and 2 in the market. So it shouldn't matter, but I just don't like the fact that there's metal bits coming through there. It should be better than that. Okay, so good grip handles, both of them. And then anything else, there's Velcro around here, which is obviously something to do with the hood, I would say. That Velcro there looks like it's probably something to do with the hood, or maybe a obligatory put your glove on it section, although I'm not sure about that. I don't think it is. Probably to do with the hood. We'll get to the hood. That comes near the end, when the video is already like 25 minutes long. I have to then do a hood installation section which always takes a bit of time, especially when I have no clue how to do it. Oh no, there's a glove thing there, so these bits are for the hood in some aspect. Okay, so what else on the outside? Stick to the outside, Fraser. So this bit goes, it's got a little bit for the cart strap to go through. That is, I'm going to check if that's tight for a Powakaddy trolley. I don't think the Motocaddies are that different either. So got a CT6 here, which to me is the best trolley on the market. See my other videos about that if you want to see how to use one, as I'm expertly demonstrating here. So let me just see, because I want to see how tight that section is, because it doesn't look very big. So they would say, why would you ever buy a Motocaddy bag and put it on a Powakaddy? And they're probably right. Most people would never do that. It does go through. It does go through. So whatever one's on the Motocaddy probably works as well. It's a little bit tighter in the way we want, but I do like the fact that they go through there. Because on the Powakaddy they don't have that. There's nothing that's holding the strap in. So you've just got to hope that that's going to be tight enough. There's not a cart feed-through strap or anything like that. Quite a lot of other bags do have that, something for the cart strap to go through. So I'm surprised they don't have that. So take the metal rivets out and put a cart strap feed-through thing on both. It's got it on this, and make that a little bit wider, Motocaddy. Okay, you listening? Right, so next bit, a nice Motocaddy embossed towel holder or whatever you want to use it for. Nothing on the other side, and Powakaddy has a nice one. It's plastic, probably why it's a little bit lighter, partly to do with that. On there, so that doesn't have anything on the other side either, no. So pretty eeksy peeksy at the moment. Then we're on to the strap at the back before we do pockets. So these are pretty much the same, they tuck in, and you don't use these straps very much at all, or these handles, but they are there if you do need them for travelling back and forward to the car and things like that, and to the locker room. Base wise, let's just have a look at this before we go into pockets. These have both got mechanisms that lock onto the bottom of the trolley. So this one's got Mag lock. It's actually just Mag lock. I don't know why I have such difficulty with this. I did a whole video recently where I was calling it Magi lock, and it doesn't say that, it says Mag lock. So we're calling it Mag lock, okay? This is Easy lock here, so it's slightly different. You put screws in there and they fit into the bottom of the Motocaddy only trolley, and this one only does it on Powakaddy, so you're forced into buying the respective trolleys that the bags relate to. So they are good systems. It means you don't have to have a little band around the bottom, it just goes on. This one's a magnet, that one sort of clicks in. Both good systems. Let's do umbrella holder. So clearly tell you where to put it in case you weren't sure. It's got a picture of an umbrella on it, goes in there and just slots in there. I like that. I like that because it doesn't lock into anything. It doesn't need to lock into anything. If you make that progressively smaller with a little bit of a hole at the bottom, it'll take any umbrella and you don't need to lock it. It's not going to fall out of there. This should be out of the way enough to get your strap round through in front of it, so it's not at the back getting in the way of the trolley cradle, and should still be fine on an actual ride-on cart as well. This one, similar looking, doesn't tell you where to put the umbrella, so you've got no chance of knowing, but I've shown you in this video, so you'll know now. And that goes down there, sort of backwards, and that is, so this is a Powakaddy umbrella that I'm managing to get stuck. No, it is fine, absolutely fine. And that does securely lock in there, but I don't think it really needs to be honest. Goes off at an angle. Is there anything funny about that? No, looks all right. That's absolutely fine. So we are on to other bits and pieces around the outside before we do pockets, okay? Not on pockets yet. That's the wee glove thing. Cannot live without that. Being able to take your glove off and Velcro it onto the side of your bag. I've never done that in my life. I know there are people that do it. I've never done it in my life. I don't know why you need to do that specifically, but anyway. They have it on the Powakaddy though? Oh my goodness. Yeah, they do. Whew. That was lucky. So there's a bit there. It doesn't actually say. Powakaddy is for slightly higher IQ individuals, I would say, because it doesn't tell you that that's for a glove, whereas it tells you that's for a glove and that's for an umbrella. So, you know, if you consider yourself a little bit more intelligent, maybe this would be the bag to go for, Powakaddy. And then we're on to, are we on to pockets? Please say we're on to pockets, because there's light at the end of the tunnel if we start the pockets. Yes, we're on to, oh no, we're not. We're on to pen holders. Pen holders, because again, you can't live without a pen holder. So that has got one at the side there very tight, but it'll fit. And this has got one sort of integrated into here, and they've had to tell you on this. Weirdly, they haven't told you that that's for a pen there, all of a sudden. Umbrella and glove, they've had to walk you through it. Whereas here, you're just left to your own devices to work that out. So I don't quite understand that. I should have a picture of a pencil, or you've got no chance. And then this has a picture of a pencil all of a sudden. Quite like that wee edgy bit in there. Don't mind it. Okay, so I think we're finally onto pockets. This has, at the front, hear that? Bulletproof section. Now I've reviewed this bag before, and there are bulletproof compartments, it feels like, on this bag. On the side here and the front there, and actually, Powakaddy have gone bulletproof a little bit in the recent bag as well. So they've obviously seen this, thought you're number one. Obviously people want to feel like they've got some sort of defence. If somebody's shooting at them, that they can hunker down behind the bag and maybe fend off an attack. And they've gone a wee bit bulletproof on it as well. So bulletproof section there, no bulletproof section here. Up here on the Motocaddy, one zip. And you tend to only get that on waterproof zips because if you had two coming together, there'd be a gap. So it tends to be that that goes down, the water drips round this way and it's not going in the pocket. That zip feels good. Now a lot of them feel tight and horrible and like they're going to break on waterproof bags. These don't, these feel good. I like that pocket, it's really quite deep. I like the feel of this bulletproof thing. It serves absolutely no purpose at all because it isn't actually bulletproof. I haven't tested that out, but I can tell that it isn't. It's not made of Kevlar because that would be too expensive. But it feels like it's solid and I quite like it. But it doesn't do anything. That's how my wife describes me. In here, we've got the similar pocket, and that doesn't have any bulletproof bit, but it's got the pen holder and then this extra bit on the outside. And you might say, well, it's not waterproof, it's out there. Doesn't matter, you don't play in the rain all the time, and it's nice to put something in there if you need to. Again, a nice deep pocket, like for like there. That feels nicer just because of the bulletproof section. But this then has an extra handy bit on the front. So you've got to weigh it up. Do I want bulletproof feel or do I want an extra pocket? That only you can decide that. And then into here, bottom pockets, Powakaddy, nice zip. Nice feel to the zips, not as big toggles on them as they are on the Motocaddy, but they feel fine. Feel absolutely fine. That's quite a short pocket, not a lot of depth to that. And this is the bulletproof section. So that feels quite nice again. I do like it. I don't know why they're doing it, but I do like it. So this would be the sort of corresponding pocket maybe on the Motocaddy. Oh no, it's not really, because that's your big insulated pocket. And well, that is not, that's going to take a Poussin. It's not going to take a full roast chicken in there. That's not big enough. And you might have seen the Christmas tree in the background. It's certainly not taking a turkey in there. So it's a very big, nice section. And I think I actually measured this the last time and it was a little bit tight for taking a 750ml bottle. It does go in, but it's actually quite tight because it doesn't go way down. It feels like it is going to go way down, but it isn't. So that's not your accessories pocket. So that's not like for like with what I've just shown you on the Powakaddy. This pocket here is just a massive pocket again. So it doesn't, the Motocaddy doesn't have an extra small accessories pocket. It's probably saying that's your small accessories pocket, and Powakaddy say, well, we've got this one up here matching yours, mate, and we've got this down here, so we've got an extra one. But what have they got in terms of big stuff? Because this is massive. That, if they'd lined with insulation, could easily have been a roast chicken pocket. That would have been a brilliant roast chicken pocket. But it's at the back and it's smaller. It's still a really, really good pocket, that. So what have Powakaddy got at the front here? Oh, this is the roast chicken pocket. That's lovely. That's wide. That's just begging to go get a really nice roast chicken, stick it in there and enjoy it hot at the 9th hole because it's insulated. So that is sensational, that pocket. But what's better here? So on the Powakaddy, you've got 1, 2, 3. On the Motocaddy, you've got 1, 2, 3. Both of these are bigger, these bottom ones, than these two. So this is small and accessories, and that is a big multi-purpose roast chicken pocket, whereas this cannot take a roast chicken. It'll take a duck or a small chicken. And then this is the size of that, but not insulated. I slightly prefer this arrangement, if I'm being honest, just knowing that that's another wee accessories pocket, and then this is big multi-purpose pocket, whereas that, you're putting in the bottles at the back, and then this is massive. But, you know, some of your accessories are going to get lost in there a little bit. Although they're both good, I actually prefer this arrangement, if I'm being honest. And then at the front here, they've got that little slot, non-waterproof slot, which Powakaddy had up here. And you could argue, well, like for like, this is better because it's bigger. They're just trading blows constantly. They're coming back at each other. You're like, you see a right come in and the left comes in, and it's all over the place, back and forward. So it's very difficult to split who's better here. Personally, I slightly prefer the setup here, but equally somebody could say, nah, I prefer that. You're wrong. Anyway, let's keep going. Right, so what's happening round about these pockets? Because that's an issue sometimes. So these have got a net on the other side, either side, so you could put bottles in there if you're not bothered about them being cold, or you're playing in Scotland and it's freezing cold outside anyway and you don't need insulation. In fact, if anything, you're trying to keep your drinks warm by putting them in your bag. This hasn't got anything on the outside of it, so that's got to be down, marked down for that, surely. This has got two nets on the side. Yeah, no, that's an advantage. So Motocaddy will need to up their game if they're going to continue to be number one. And then we're on to the side pockets, right? So this little side pocket here, and these are the same on both sides. So this is your furry valuables pocket. There's a nice depth to that. The zip feels absolutely fine, solid and good. Is this the same thing? No, let's try and find the equivalent pocket there. Yeah, furry valuables. Let me give you a furry. No, not a lot in it. They're both not as luxurious as you would maybe want, but they're about the same. Are they the same on both sides? Yeah, same on both sides. Is this still soft on the outside? Oh no, that's furry on both sides. This is furry on one side. So if you're looking for furriness, this is your bag. Although it's not, as I say, the nicest furry pocket you'll ever feel. So anyway, where are we? Lost my track there. Talk about furry pockets. So we're on to the big pocket, and this has got the rain hood in it. I'll get that out for later. And that's a good size. That's pulling away nicely. This doesn't feel tight in any way, shape or form. Some of the waterproof bags do feel tight. They feel like they're going to rip. That's pretty easy access. Solid feeling. Is it the same on this side? There's no internal little extra pockets there. I don't know if you can get into the bottom of the bag on one of these sides if you drop something down the bottom. Yes, you can. There's a zip there. So you can rescue something if you drop something down the bottom. And the equivalent pocket on here, although this has got more on it anyway, we'll come to that. This is the big pocket. That is really good. That is really good. That is possibly easier access and every bit as big. Not a lot in it access-wise, but that's the hood for that. Again, feels really good. But then Motocaddy has, and Powakaddy definitely doesn't have this, 3 pockets on this side. So it's got a bit built into its Kevlar bulletproof section on the side. So you've got, why that's there, I don't know. It feels good, but, oh, if I just wrecked it. No. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, that's still got a fair bit of space in it. So there's extra compartmentalization areas in there. You can section stuff off even more on there. There is space coming out your ears on that. Maybe that's why it's number 1. But this is good as well. Let me just check this again. Yeah, it feels a little bit meager compared to the massive amount of space that's going on there. If they were going to improve on anything, that would be try and copy a little bit more of what's going on there. A little bit, widen this. There's so much space though on either bag. Just because this doesn't have as much space as that on the sides doesn't mean it's like inadequate and you can't use it. Every bit enough space that you would ever need. But nevertheless, that's a better arrangement on the side. And this is a nice feel, this hard thing. It serves absolutely no purpose at all. And is that it? Apart from the hoods? I think it is. So let's see, not saying what I think's better at the moment. Let's do the hoods and see what the hoods are like. Because the hoods are quite important, because it's raining, remember, when you've got one of these bags a lot of the time. It's part of the reason you've got it. So this is looking like Velcro, which I'm never that happy with. But so this is the Powakaddy. And it's always a bit of a sort of intelligence test doing this. So I would think this has to go either side of this front bit. Otherwise it wouldn't have two Velcro sections, right? So that goes there. Oh, I'm disappointed with this. Right, it goes on. It's fine. It goes on quite quickly and easily. And I get why they don't use poppers and stuff, because oh, they break and people have to return the whole bag because one of the poppers broke. So let's just use Velcro. The only thing about that is it just feels like there's little gaps. And when the wind and rain is coming in Scotland, and remember the bag's like that as well, it's not always just straight up and down, it's on a trolley or whatever. That's coming in there and it might be a wee bit of rain getting there. And they'll say, well, what about the time when there's wind and rain coming in and you're having to open it to get your clubs out? Yeah, but I mean, you could at least give the feeling of a bit more security. It is really only that bit. But like if that's blowing back, you know, does that then open up? I don't know. I think the hood should be slightly better than that, affixed onto it. It's all right. I mean, it feels like a nice solid hood, and it was easy to put on, but I don't know. Am I asking for too much? I don't know. Let's have a look at this. This feels thin. This feels thin, lightweight, flimsy compared to that. Again, they've just done the same thing. Uninspiring. Sorry. Should be better on a waterproof bag. This should be a thing of beauty and like secure and oh, look at that. You know, no water getting in that. But no, instead of that, it just feels. And there's Velcro down the sides. Yeah, it's quite strong, I suppose. I mean, it feels waterproof. But it's got one zip, and it zips up there and just goes, look at that, right? It just goes really wide. So it goes up like that and starts to splay open, and the wind's caught it, and it's opening. So it'd be on like that, I suppose, on a trolley. It just doesn't feel like, the rest of the bag feels really like solid and nicely built, and then the hood just feels a bit, I'm not a massive fan of Velcro. I do get why they do it, but it somehow just leaves you disappointed and slightly sad feeling inside, you know. And then put that in there, tucked away, and let's get this one away. And I think we're nearly done. And then I've got about 3 days of editing ahead of me. That material, they're not taking up masses of room, I suppose. I kind of get why it's number one, the Motocaddy, in that it's got fractionally more space, probably. Although the only bit where I think it's actually properly better in terms of like the space is actually the sides. I don't think this is necessarily, just because it's a bit bigger there, better than that. I quite like the arrangement here. And that, although it's bigger, this is still big enough. It just seems like it's 3-2 on pockets on the side there. And that's definitely a bit bigger and a bit better, I would say, on the side. The hood feels slightly better on the Powakaddy. This pocket up here, they were about the same. There's something possibly a bit more solid feeling about the way that this is built. That's got a fractionally cheaper, thinner feel to some of the materials in it than the Powakaddy. There's a slight feeling of a fraction more quality, I would say, just in the likes of that area, and as I say, the actual material overall. But who knows, I don't know how long they last, whether one would last more than another. In terms of looks, it's up to you, can't comment on that. These are both pretty non-offensive colours. I'd give it as a draw. There's one or two bits on each that you could say is slightly better or a fraction different. There's not enough in it. So I kind of get maybe why that's number one, because actually as soon as I went onto the internet, I found it cheaper. It's fractionally cheaper. Although I think you probably, if you were pushed, you get that for the same if you were really, really looking. And it's only £10 different anyway, worst case scenario. You know, if you've got a Powakaddy trolley, don't be sad that you can't really get a Motocaddy bag, because that's every bit as good. And basically, I think my assessment is it should be number one equal. I don't think one's better than the other. There you go. I wasn't sure. I wanted to maybe say one was better than the other, but that's my honest opinion. I really don't think there's enough in it to bother about. So it basically depends on price and then what trolley you've got. And they'll go on other trolleys, no problem. They'll fit on everything. They've got a nice rounded sort of shape. There's nothing weird about it. So that'll do you, I think. If you've got any questions, put them in the comments and I'll get back to you. But thanks again for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Much appreciated if you do. And I'll see you in the next one.